day 7 of Lent, we come to Matthew chapters 15 and 16. In these two chapters, we see a snapshot of what life was like at that time. We see Jesus healing a young girl who was said to be possessed. We see miracles like feeding of the 4,000, and Jesus reveals to his disciples what his future holds. We also see Jesus challenging the Pharisees about their Jewish laws and practices, and this is what I wanted to elaborate on today. It's not often that the first couple of lines of any chapter would call my attention, demanding that I stop and take stock immediately. In fact, it's far more like my character to speed through the text, plotting and marking out important sections along the way of which I'd like to explore later. I naturally do everything at speed. However, verse 11, what goes into someone's mouth does not defile them, but what comes out of their mouth is what defiles them, stopped me in my tracks. Isn't it interesting that such a small thought could not only stop me in my tracks, in all my enthusiasm and my excitement for the day, but also cause so much offence to so many? I'm sure that Jesus did not need his disciples to tell him, to point out how much he was upsetting the Pharisees. Yet this verse is something that is often just glanced over in favour of the miracles that follow it. But let's just pause at this point for a few minutes. What was Jesus actually saying to the people that was causing the Pharisees so much offence? No one likes being told what to do, especially when they've been doing their thing that way over and over for many years. The Jewish tradition of Nuntilat Yaudehim, or hand washing, is such an important part of their culture. To ritually cleanse and wash while saying a blessing is not only part of the Jewish law, but there's proof of it in Exodus 17 and 21, and also in the Jewish book, the Talmud. The ritual was around for many years before Jesus was out there telling people what was right and wrong, as we see in Matthew 15. And Jesus challenges the Pharisees and these long-valued traditions and questions the heart of the people. He asks in verse 3, why do you break the command of God for the sake of the tradition? In other words, why are you not doing what God asks of you, yet you follow all the laws and pretend to be so good? And that's where my attention is thrown from Galilee 2,000 years ago to North Preston and Garstang here today in the 21st century. What am I doing that looks good and pleasing to other people and to Christian circles around me, yet failing the God who sees everything I do? Does it matter when I say and do the right things? Yet God can really hear what's going on inside my heart. Jesus explains that food goes into your mouth and works its way out of your body. This means that over the several hours it's in there, it's processed and all the nutrients are removed from it, of which your body requires to be healthy. Although it's advised to keep your hands clean, especially in times as this at the moment, and even though it is lovely to utter a word of thanks to God before eating, I think it's fair to say that there are other laws that could be viewed with more importance, and the necessity for keeping our hands clean to please God does not necessarily need to be our priority right now. Jesus does point out, however, that we need to be concerned with what comes out of our mouth rather than what we feed into it. Words are powerful and they can hurt far more deeply than any other weapon we possess. As humans, our words are often our downfall. As Jesus reminds us, evil thoughts come to a head through the mouth, and the damage a spur of the moment, smart put down, or comment can make without a moment's thought is what really, really defiles a human. The damage that can be done from not blessing your bread and washing your hands before eating is tiny in comparison to the unsurmountable damage the tongue and the mouth can deliver. And so my thoughts today are around what my head thinks, because God still hears it, and what my mouth speaks, because many around me feel that. And at times, the latter is a struggle for us all.